Well, hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to yet another episode of the Bass Podcast.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see these people, man. It's been a minute since we got to sit down in here. We kind of had front-logged or backlogged.
Back-fronted.
We back-fronted. We logged
We
it.
front-bottomed.
We logged it. Dude, we've both been everywhere since the last time we talked.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, how you been? You played some fun shows since.
I did. We played Red Rocks. Yeah.
That's the fun show.
Which was amazing. We opened for Tyler Childers and S.G. Goodman, and it was, and all I got was the shirt. No, just kidding. Yeah, it was amazing. It was everything I hoped it would be.
Nice.
No complaints. The weather was insanely good. Like, it was a little uncharacteristically hot that day, and then when the sun went down, our set it was probably 70 degrees.
Oh, amazing.
And obviously super dry. My bass was acting fine though. Rented
Nice.
a big old Heritage SVT that, were put up right on the front of the stage when you're the opener of that show. Like, we were all on a front line, like the drums were not behind us, any of that. It's just we were just cramming up in there, and yeah, it sounded amazing. I usually wear earplugs, and it's such a long walk from like the side stage area to the very front, the way we were piled up on there. And I didn't get my earplugs in time because, a minute difference is the difference between like, do we get to play our last song or not?
Yeah.
Because those sets are so tight. So I didn't get them in, and then it was the best monitor mix experience I've ever had on a wedge.
Beautiful.
It was not too loud. I left my earplugs out for the rest of the set, and mostly because that SVT, like, it was almost touching my back. The way it was so
I need
close.
it in my bones.
Yeah,
If I've got an SVT, it's on.
that's where it's at. Yeah, that's
It's
where it
on.
sounds the best too.
I'm swimming
man.
in it.
Or bonus points if it's a little farther back behind you, but you're on a stage platform that resonates.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so fun.
Very dope.
Good loud amp. But
Nice, dude.
anyway, it was amazing. Couldn't have gone better.
Did you carve your name in the rocks?
No, but we signed our names.
Are you allowed
under
to
the
people
thing.
carve in there?
I don't think so.
Can't
I
defile it.
mean, I guess no one would have stopped us.
Disrespectful. He's like, Carson.
There was like, we were looking through, I mean, there's been, so many performers there that are legendary, and a lot of the signatures and stuff have faded off, and then new people have kind of signed over it. But like the Gorillas and Wilco like 5 times, and like Peter Gabriel and Stevie Nicks, and like we're just looking around at the ones we could just see and recognize.
Yeah, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. What all did you fly out there with you? Just the bass?
Buddy, we drove.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we drove.
Never mind.
From Nashville. We played a show at the basement, the regular basement, which in Nashville, some of these, like, I don't know if you call it a dive bar or not, but like some of these like smaller venues, they will do 2 shows in a night with separate ticket sales and everything. So we played a 8 p.m. show, maybe 9 p.m. show.
Nice.
Only we opted to not do. We played a little longer and didn't do any openers or anything like that. We had some special guests that came out because it was the last night of a residency we were doing. But we played it, got off stage, packed up by 9:30. We were in the van. We drove, I think, a little over 4 hours to St. Louis.
Nice.
Crashed for 5 hours.
I would say it's a quick sleep.
Slept for 5 hours, and then went from St. Louis to Denver, and that took us, another 14 hours, maybe more.
It's
I don't know.
such a haul, dude.
Yeah, when you get to Kansas too, in that last spot, you're like driving into the sun as the sun sets, which was beautiful, but also like hard to watch the road.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's way better when you're driving into Denver and the sun's coming up.
Absolutely,
it's so cool. And it's in your rear view.
Yep,
you can see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
nice.
It was great. We played at Cervantes a couple of nights later as like a Kentucky on the rocks thing, or they call it Appalachia on the rocks.
Out there in Denver.
Yeah, got to meet Miles Miller.
Cool. You drink a Coors?
I didn't drink a Coors
Man.
because the rocks. I get it. Right? Is
Yeah.
that the joke?
They're from out there, yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know.
You gotta stop in Golden where Coors is. Super fun.
Miles Miller is like, he's doing solo stuff now, but he was always Sturgill Simpson's drummer.
Oh, cool.
And so I've been a fan of him for years, and Kelsey Walden and John R. Miller is insane. If y'all like that kind of music, like he's one of my absolute favorites. So really stacked lineup. Wayne Graham was there, and Logan Halstead and Tommy Prine. Anyway, it was a great
in that
show.
circle. That's like a good.
That is like
the
the gold standard of.
I don't know if you guys are in that corner of country and I guess Americana, but that's like
it's
the
about
list.
time for y'all to get hip to it too.
That's the list.
That's
that's
half the list,
dude. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
nice man, very cool.
So it was really good. What were you doing? You had a ton of stuff too.
I did, but then I've been like off the road for the last couple weeks.
Nice,
just doing town stuff, which is it's been fun to get to do again.
Yeah,
you know, just like the show up, no set list. He's just calling them. He'll be like, you know this one? I'll be like, nope, but we're gonna do it. So, dude, I love it, and that's been fun because I've been like bringing my full rig.
Nice.
So I've been bringing I've got this interesting Laney stack deal. So on top it's 410s, and then on bottom it's just a big 15. And I stack them together, and they're
sounds super good,
dude. They're awesome, and I have that Laney head. It's like 1,000 watt. It's a Laney Nexus. It was like they kind of market it for like studio live thing, which seems like what Laney's doing. Period. They just came out with a new cab that's the same thing, where it's like studio live, and there's actually a switch in the back where you can tell it how much or little of the head unit you want it to pass through before it hits the direct out, which is super cool. So I mean, you can completely bypass EQs and everything.
Cool.
Like it'll just send it. Like you can make it send a signal. So super cool. And there's like fun, like I don't know, just different things. But it is a tube head, so I've been playing that. But then I've been running my Arkham. I'll give the house out of my tube preamp on my board, and I hit my HX and get a little drive out of it, and send it over to the amp, dude. And I set it up on the stage, and I was like, hey, if I'm like, you know, blowing you guys out of the water, just let me know. I'll turn it down. And they were like, honestly, I think if you just turned it up 25% more, we'll be closer. And I was like,
all right.
I love it. Very cool. So
here's the ticket.
I cranked it, man. It was great. So that's been fun. But before that, I think we were in, I don't know that we've even been doing opening bills. We did like some acoustic stuff that I got to take out I've got, dude, my favorite acoustic. I finally you know how like you finally buy like the dream one, the end all be all. I got a J45, and it's gonna ride with me till the end, and it'll go in the wheel, dude. I love it so much. Awesome. Been throwing around some different strings on it. I feel like acoustic strings are the most testy for me. But throwing some different strings, the testy strings, bass strings, I'm like, love it. I got the labellas on my thing. I like, you know, I've got my thing, and then with acoustic, I'm like, let me try the Darius. Let me try the Ernie balls. Let me try the elixirs. You know, everybody swears by the elixirs, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm in and out of it. I enjoy the elixirs. I just saw these like Ernie Ball Paradigm. I think they're their higher end strings that I'm gonna throw on. We'll see. I'm interested in it. So acoustic strings. If you got suggestions, throw them my way.
This is a good caveat. I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast. I was looking. I love Flatwounds, but they just do not cut it live for me usually.
Sometimes,
in my experience, or for how I like to sound, especially since my band it's country, but it's rock too.
It's like Bruce Springsteen made country.
That's such a compliment.
I mean, it
to
is.
me.
Dude, I was listening to that Sleepwalker by the Killers on the way in.
Hey, Sleepwalker.
And it's like her melodies
Yeah,
and vibe.
yes.
Like it's
It's
very
great.
like Killers, Bruce Springsteen, Bleachers mixed
I
with
love it
like
so much.
roots. It's cool. Actually, not to derail your derail, but the artist you play for just put out a record. So everybody needs to listen to that. Abby Hamilton's new record. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Talk about your new strings.
Well, I just I've always done Ernie Ball Cobalts. I liked how like articulate they were.
Yeah.
But I was just something
Cobalt's on everything. Sorry to
everything.
interrupt.
Well, no,
On the
that's not
Yamaha,
true. On my like main
Yes,
instrument
okay.
that I take to a gig.
Cool.
So whenever that instrument changes, that would always have Ernie Ball Cobalts.
Cool.
And I'd still probably say that's maybe my favorite round wound, but I've been just buying them for so long that I'm kind of out of the game, you know, because it's just like I found my thing, great,
Yeah,
one less thing to worry about. But I kept looking, like I wanted to do more Flatwounds because Abby's stuff was recorded on Flatwounds for Justin Craig, her co-writer. He played bass on a bunch of the songs. Zach Hamilton played bass on one of the songs. I played bass on 3 or 4 of the songs. So I guess mine were dead Cobalts when I was recording. By the way, that came out, or we recorded that 3 years ago. So it's been frickin' forever. Hard to remember some of it. I just plugged into my Apollo because I got COVID that day. Literally the day I was going to studio. I know Anyway, all that to say, I want to match more and more tonally what is on the records and how they mix it and stuff. And so Flatwounds are that. It's still me because I'm still playing like a 5-string and reinterpreting stuff a little bit, but I wanted that sound. And so I was looking, I've always been curious about half rounds, but it just, I don't know. All I have is to read, talk bass and listen to YouTube stuff, and it's not always
that works.
the right picture of it. But I like the Ernie Ball so much, and I don't want to have my bass set up again because my bass is set up for what Ernie Ball does at the ball ends and tension and all that kind of stuff. So I just looked and I was like, okay, Ernie Ball has a flat wound, and then I was looking more into it, and it's like they make a flat wound that's made to sound and feel like round wounds, like slinkies, and not have high tension, but have pretty low tension, which I've always said I like a higher tension flat wound. And so this was the exact opposite of that, but I just saw the opportunity and put them on. And these are the best strings I've ever played for me.
So you're loving
at least in this period of time in my career. Like,
Dang.
when I show up with the labellas, with the old school deep talking labellas live, I feel like I almost fit in the mix too well. Like it's a little too muddy, whatever. But I love recording with those labellas for the flat wound thing, because if someone wants the round wound thing, I still just bring my Yamaha with these Ernie balls on, and it sounds. Like I took them to places a lot of times we're using in-ears or using amps, and then I'd ask front of house engineers that have mixed me a lot of times before, like, hey, did you notice anything different? How's my tone? Whatever. And none of them could tell. Part of that is because I have a really high action, and when I'm playing on round wounds, it's not very clicky and all that already. I'm really anal about that. But for me, already being anal about that kind of thing, putting these flat ones on it let me loosen up a little bit, because not every like subtle movement is coming through the PA. And now, as I hunt for a second Yamaha BB5000, like I could have one that's round wounds and one that's these Ernie Ball Cobalt flats. I'm just like, I'm completely over the moon about them.
Dude, that's very cool. I gotta hear them. I haven't heard them yet, so I've heard obviously the rave reviews, but
dude, it's really good. The sustain is really great on them too. I was worried because flat wounds are a little doom, sometimes.
They can be.
Sustain was so good. And I love the labellas on like my hollow body that has that almost McCartney type feel to it. These don't do that. But these, I can show up at any gig like I would a round wound and not get chewed out if it wasn't the right thing or whatever. So, man, I'm into them.
Dude, I've been keeping the flats. I've got the labellas on my P-Bass still, and I've been riding them out. Yeah, it's been all right, especially with the way that it kind of combines with like a tube. I feel like is close to the sound I really do like. I think I like playing them 20% less than I like playing like the actual
Pretty
feel.
high tension. It's like, or it's like a,
Yeah,
I don't know.
something like that. I enjoy it less than a round. But I've been playing them, like I said, in these like bar gigs that have been doing these 10 to 2s, and it's been working. But to be noted, my amp has this function on it, and obviously the majority of what I'm hearing is coming from my amp, which hits my preamp and hits everything. But my amp has this one function that Laney puts on it, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody else put this on an amp. They call it tilt, and it is just a seesaw EQ. So if you show up in a room and you're like, these are my settings, but it's too boomy, you can roll towards the high end, and it just takes the whole EQ and just slants it.
It's like a room correction EQ.
Yes, that's exactly
cool.
what it is. So you can leave your settings the way you do it, and it's just the one. And it's phenomenal. It's kind of genius on a bass amp that's putting out into the room, and the room is hearing that bass amp, which, some of the bars, yes, some of the bars, no. But dude, I've been loving it, especially when I'm digging in with a pick on these flats and on the P bass. I'm into it. Like I think it's actually doing what I want. Like this guy, one of the guys I was playing with was doing like a lot of this 90s like rock stuff, which I just love. And I was playing some of these, like a lot of the Stone Temple Pilots bass lines are pretty moving. Like the Plush bass line moves, the Interstate Love Song bass line really moves. And it was nailing it. Nice. Like the pick was awesome. Super fun, had a great time. But that just all makes me think, maybe I need to try these Ernie balls on there. Dude, see what happens.
I certainly make it a play. Like they're fantastic to me. They're fantastic.
Dude, that's a big plug. They've paid us $0, by the way. Ernie Ball has paid us $0.
I mean, bass strings are expensive these days, so and it's not like these are uncarried. Like these fall right in line with everything else, but I threw these on my bass and I was playing through it, and I was sitting here like freaking out in the studio, in my studio, and then I was like, okay, well, I've got 3 gigs before I like commit that I love this string. I did all 3 of those. I did all 3 of those gigs, and then as I'm at the last gig, I bought like 3 more pairs on Amazon. So that says
he's committed.
Yeah, that says a lot because strings ain't cheap. It's hard out here.
That's more than a double down. That's a triple down.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this: have they gotten more dead, or do you think they're like really holding up?
They have deadened a little bit. Like
do you enjoy that?
Yes and no. I think they break in like any other round wound.
Cool.
Which if I'm at a place where I can afford to change my strings every 2 months, 3 months, probably 2 months. I'd always have that really nice kind of articulate, whatever.
Crispy.
But with that being said, like everything for my band that I'm about, we leave for tour on Friday. Everything with my band was recorded on dead Flatwounds.
Yeah, but you're able to put
this band, I don't have to.
You're able, when you're recording as dead as you want, there's so much correction that can be applied to make that the right sound still sit in the mix. And live, I just feel like we're not in a spot to do that. I feel like, I just feel like, it's so much out of your hands at that point.
I like to cut through a little bit more live when I can. That could also be done with EQ, but I don't have the API on my board right now. I'm actually thinking about putting it back on to maybe correct. I really like where they have the mid. I think it's at like 440, but if you like mid up a little bit and then just a little bass boost, it's also like cuts the mud a little bit, the way those two interact. Anyway, I have always liked that EQ. We gave it a good review.
Couple thumbs up.
So,
cool, man.
Yeah, I like that, but I don't know. Like when I put these strings on and I'm like, I want to use this on everything, and I like how it's bright but not like finger noisy, whatever. It's just like cool in the best way. So,
dude, love it.
I'm all about it.
Well, if you've made it to this point and you just sat through string talk, I mean,
Yeah.
you're a bass guy
Right.
or girl.
What up?
Yeah, we got the real ones with us now.
Yeah. Welcome.
Dude, that's so fun. Well, I mean, honestly, it's such a small thing that makes a big difference in your comfort that
Man, it's been so huge.
it's weirdly large.
Yeah, it's just like, and a lot of people won't notice, but how a string reacts, the tension, the bounce, the whatever, like it changes your whole mindset. It's just, I don't know about you guys either, but if I'm having a bad day and I bring like a negative headspace into a performance, I don't play as well. And so it's just another, you just have to manage everything, your emotions, how it feels, how your or like you go out to play and it's a hot day and you're outside and the neck gets real gummy and stuff, and like feel matters.
Dude, feel matters a lot.
Yeah. You have an instrument that inspires you or doesn't.
Yeah, dude. A lot of our gigs, I'll be like, running a couple cables and won't have time to like go wash my hands, and I'm super.
You wash your hands before you play?
I want to. Sometimes I just don't have the chance, especially if we're playing, I always say this, but like a middle of a field or a county fair or something. There's just few ways to make that happen, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll be, it's just gunked and you go into it just like, oh man, you just feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the more I can minimize that, the better.
I did start one of our Tyler shows was like half raining. And so everything was kind of gummy when we go on. It wasn't raining really when we played.
It's kind of humid because of it.
Yeah, and we had like a roof type thing over us, so we weren't getting wet, but everything was just gummy. And I just remember that I used to use, I think it's by GHS Fast Fret. You can get it at Guitar Center. It's like a little slicky thing you put over it. So I carry that with me too for those days. Now, like I don't use it. I don't use it unless I'm feeling like, man, something's really off. Stuff isn't working like I expect it to. Just run that stuff up it, and then I'm like, great.
I've seen it over the years. I've never given it a shot.
I feel like it's just like practically like alcohol. I don't know though.
Yeah.
I guess alcohol wouldn't really like lube up the strings, but it says it cleans the strings too, and I don't know if I believe that or not. Like
it might cut finger oil off of it.
Yeah, like I don't care. I just know that it feels good.
That's the thing with my P bass. I'm like, flatter the better, like the deader the better.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like I don't mind the gunk. It's just a feel thing.
In my experience, people have just more and more and more gone towards what makes the bass fit well in the mix and makes it just sit better. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of overtones and high end and stuff that they're just going to cut out. Unless it's
immediately, without even hearing it.
Yeah, unless it's like a classic rock thing where the dude was always using round wounds, whatever. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, though, they would be using the amps that are super overdriven anyway. Like, they'd have a DI too to mix with it, and so maybe they leave some top end there. But the common thing, I did a studio session last week. We did 3 days at Mountain Arts Recording Center. Mountain Art Center Recording. That's what it is. The MAC.
Okay. The MAC.
Really, really great studio. Like 2 ISO booths, big live room, separate mixing room. I haven't been in a legit studio in a minute to record. So I was, super happy. So I brought my B15. We mic'd it up with the United Audio FET 47 that I have. And all that to say, he literally told me before we start, I had my Noble as my DI signal, just went straight into the Noble and then went into the B15. And so he's like, hey, all your high end's going to be the B15. Like, make sure you're happy with that. Mm-hmm. All your low end's going to be the DI. And that is increasingly common where they're just like, I want the low end extension of the DI, all the flavor from the amp I can get. And he probably like sums it to a bus in his DAW and then overdrives it again. Yeah. And that's it most likely it's cutting it's adding harmonics, but he's also darkening it and cutting stuff he doesn't need. So, Flatwounds get you a little closer there for that feel in these genres.
Yeah.
And like the pop stuff right now where it's like super computery, super sampley, whatever. A lot of times those people, when they bring in real instruments, want them dirty, crazy, whatever, because they're used to grabbing a software synth or fake bass, whatever. Like they can get the clean stuff. They can't get the super character stuff.
Totally.
So I don't know. That's my soapbox about it right now.
No, cool.
Always subject to change, but man, I like a good flat wound. I like a round wound for slapping and stuff. I'm selling this other Yamaha that we do a lot of our slap stuff on. So eventually I'll have to get another round wound bass, but right now, like I don't need it.
I'm shopping for one right now.
Yeah.
And I'm still leaning Music Man.
Oh man, love a Music Man.
I love
It's just got something.
I love
like
it.
that's a bass I personally. No, I should back up because I was gonna say that's a bass I would never throw flat wounds on. But the 80s, like Pino Palladino flat wound with a little chorus.
Yeah, dude.
That is a tone.
Such a vibe.
That's a
it's
tone.
specific, but it's such a vibe.
Yeah.
Super
I would
cool.
love to have fretless Music Man with flats and then like an aggressive 5-string Music Man with rounds.
I'm even thinking 4-string Music Man, dude.
I mean,
I'm switching off of it. I think I just like tuning down.
Yeah, and those new ones are really light. This sounds like an ad, and it's not an
No,
ad. Like they're just really
I wish it
freaking
was.
cool.
I
Yeah.
love Ernie Ball.
Yeah.
Love the Music Man stuff. It's not. I'm just interested. I mean, it's either that or I'll just pick up another P bass. And I'll probably do that either way. So
Right,
I just feel like I'm going to collect P basses forever.
Heck yeah.
And that's just fun. I love some of they've got a green color right now that I really like. And then they've got like another, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like half muted, almost like green headed to pastel. Kind of like a
Interesting.
I don't know how to describe it, but there's this green color I've seen like floating around and I'm into it. But dude, Music Man, all right, y'all go with me here. They've got one called Pueblo Pink. And it's like this super light pink. And it's like headstock paint matched.
Is it like shell pink almost? Or?
Yeah, it's a little
I love
it's
that.
a little paler than shell pink. It's not like a brilliant color.
Right.
It's super like I don't know. It's a vibe. I might just go for it.
I want a pink bass too. Dang it, man!
If I get it first. Yeah, dude. Well, that's the thought for me.
I love the old car colored instruments.
I mean,
the seafoams.
I got a seafoam green telly. I love it.
There's like a Daphne blue or whatever.
Love Daphne blue.
And then like the shell pink. All that whole, what is it, 50s, 60s?
Stingray's got a buttercream right now that I think is also a great.
Get that buttercream.
Stop. Dude, I think it's really nice. Some of their bursts honestly lose me. I am not a burst guy, but if I'm going to do a burst, it's got to be like OG.
Yeah.
Really like classic. Like on a Les Paul, a burst makes a ton of sense.
Oh, it's
But
dope,
not the weird ones that are like blue to black. It completely loses me.
There's a lot of like modulus and other bursts where I'm like, that's not my thing. That's fine. They do a freaking cool black sparkle. Ernie Ball.
I need to check that out.
Dude, I saw, that's the one that like, you know, I'm 15, I see it in the guitar store, I look at the top, so they, you know, it's out of your reach to get, and it's expensive, more than I can afford cutting lawns as a 15-year-old or whatever, and it's like black sparkle, and I'm like, man.
Dude, that's funny that you remember like a moment of seeing a bass on a shelf that you didn't buy, because I saw Thunderbird.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy it. And I told myself, I'm going to go back next week. And if it's there, I'm walking out with it. And I went back and it was gone.
And Thunderbird flew away, man. We out.
Freeze a bird. Dude, I should have bought it. You can always return it. This is bad advice. I should have bought it.
It's like Ernie Ball, for some reason, the Stingrays were like the only really nice basses our Guitar Center would keep, which was annoying, but also you're like, wow.
They show up every once in a while, but I don't know. We'll see about it. Dude, a Ripper came up on one of the apps, whether it was Facebook or reverb or something. And I was like,
Those are cool. I'm afraid of them, but
Gibson basses scratch an itch for me
Yeah.
that I need. Like I need a Gibson bass.
yeah.
And there's so many good options.
I think those are thinner than you'd think too, which is really cool.
Maybe.
The Grabber and the Ripper, I think they're like
dude.
not that thick.
Dude, I'd play either. Those things are
Same.
money. Those SG basses, sweet.
And I've been talking about those Ibanez ATK basses. That's another thing, man. People got to get on that. Like all these different semi-niche body styles.
Dude,
like
that Fender Katana still sitting on
Fender
reverb.
Katana.
Do you guys know what this is? Oh, dude, look up Fender Katana. It's awesome. It's still like I liked it probably a year and a half ago, and I sent it to Carson. He was like, I don't know. You had some reason you didn't like it. So I don't know, man. And I was like, and they wanted like too much. They've dropped it by like $600-700 now, and it's still liked and sitting there. And I'm like, this might be a sign from Jesus that I need to maybe throw in an offer on it. I don't know, dude.
Always throwing
Those
that
things
low
are
ball, just see what
sweet.
happens. Yeah. I apologize if I've ever, if you've sold me anything on reverb or really anything else. Like I'm in
problem.
it. I'm in it to play the game. So
No, I like playing the game.
my favorite thing when you're selling something is when somebody hits you with like, what's the lowest you'll take? And you're like, I'm not in a bidding war with myself, sir.
The price listed, actually.
That's what's the lowest. If someone comes out of the gate with what's the lowest you'll take, I will almost ignore you or just like just waste your time.
Price
at
just
that
went
point.
up, actually.
Because I
You
think
wouldn't
you're
believe it.
wasting my time.
Yeah,
You don't know how this works, sir. What's the lowest you'll take? Man, I'd be really bummed if I took $10 for this. And then he's like, all right, can you meet tomorrow? And man, I guess I'm really bummed that no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
What a scam, dude. We've created a monster online.
Absolutely.
Dude.
Hi, is this available? I'm not answering that one either. Any of that AI Facebook crap, like, hello, is this available? And then you could click like, yes, it is available. No, I'm not doing it.
Gosh.
I don't care that you have a $5 bread machine that I want. Like, I don't.
Bread machine. You're really out there shopping.
Yeah, whatever
I bet
it
your
is, dude.
suggested on Facebook Marketplace is chaos.
Right now, it's all organs because I got a Hammond B3 through a wild series of events, and it is amazing. Amazing.
It's
It is
super cool.
everything you'd want out of a Hammond B3 and Leslie. And this studio's walls are closing in on me. It is just
Rapidly.
You guys don't see what's near the camera, but like there's keyboards everywhere right now. There's a drum set. It's getting
A lot of
to be a
stuff's
lot.
going on in here.
Something's gonna have to happen. I need to win the lottery and get another place to put all this crap.
Storage
Get a
units.
storage unit, yeah.
Dude.
I would love to own a storage unit. Would you ever own a storage unit?
Seems like a good business model considering they're popping up everywhere constantly, always. They're
Americans,
clearly
man.
lucrative.
Yeah, we gotta have our stuff.
Got to store it.
Gotta store our stuff.
These old couches, dude. The garage fridge. Got to put that
Yeah.
somewhere.
You got any good dad closet finds lately?
Dude, I found this random band. Sometimes when, like, I mean, I do a lot of this like thrifting and going to the Goodwills or whatever. I was like scanning through and I saw this tag and it was like this really cool old like size tag on it. So I pulled it out. I never heard of this band, but the shirt is really cool. It's this band called The Wedding Present.
Okay.
It's like a 90s British band. Started listening to some of it. I was like, this is pretty cool. So I just grabbed it. Happens a lot because you can tell something is, you know, I can relatively date it. And it kind of led me down a cool little rabbit hole. I think I've sold some other fun stuff that's like bands, and I buy like country tees all the time. I love like 90s. Oh, found a 91 David Allan Coe.
Okay.
Dude, yeah, very, very cool. Super old t-shirt, fun. I think it's like the weirdest dimension of a shirt. It's like the width of a medium, but the length of a 3X. I don't know what's going on with the shirt, but somebody can cut it and have a good time. But dude, yeah, no, just hanging around. There was a left-handed acoustic in Goodwill last night as I was walking on. I saw it. I was like, and they wanted like $200. It was like a Dean, a blue Dean.
No.
So I left it. But one day I'll come up with a cool music find. Other than I bought that. I don't know if you remember a while ago. I bought an oboe and a clarinet.
Oh yeah. Did you sell those?
I did.
Both of them? Nice.
I did. Yeah, man. Super funny. But well, dude, I say we get out of here in a second. But music wise, let me throw this one at you. Here's my recommendation to everybody. A lot of music that I grew up with, I've been like, listening to it, and you kind of miss the understated parts. And for a lot of my life, like I obviously love like rock and roll guitar.
Yeah.
And I always love these bands like Dude Warrant and like Rat and these like fun metal bands from the 80s. And I love all that Motley Crue stuff. And dude, I just really never listened to the bass lines. So I've been going back and listening, not to lump Van Halen into this, but a lot of these bass lines of Van Halen songs are phenomenal. And maybe they're not like crazy, but they're so perfect. And the way I like to think of it is pointed and intentional.
Totally.
Dude, listen to some of that stuff, man. The biggest, and this is not hair metal at all, but the biggest thing I've been fascinated with in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, dude, is AC/DC bass lines.
Okay. All right.
I would say that might be the most overshadowed like corner of rock and roll, is just like when there's this monster of a guitar player. Yes.
Serving.
But there's such a monster guitar player that the band is about. And then Brian Johnson, just crazy vocals. Bon Scott, crazy vocals. And then behind that is what I would, in my mind, is such a simple but just steamroller rhythm section. Dude, it's perfect. I forget the guy's name even, and y'all forgive me for this, but he's actually on Music Man now.
Oh, cool.
And honestly, some of his tone isn't even that great. But the lines, he'll do this. He'll be like, I'm going to hold down this A for a long, long time. And then they'll go to like a bridge or a solo section, and he and Malcolm will switch to like Riff Rock. And all of a sudden, there's this monster release. And I'm like, these guys came up with a thing, a formula. It's perfect. Go back, listen to some of these bass lines, dude. They are awesome.
Nice.
Super cool. And I'm really into like the better portion of the AC/DC discography. It's all over the place, dude. It's so cool. That's my rec to you. That's my rec to everybody.
All right.
AC/DC bass lines, super fun.
Yeah.
Even when they're not crazy, they are just perfect. So there's my rec. You got a rec you want to throw, or you want to just get out of here?
I'm good to get out of here. Listen to Abby's.
So I'm trying to leave.
Listen to Abby's record. Abby Hamilton, #1 zookeeper of the San Diego Zoo. Come see us on tour.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
This probably isn't coming out before I've left. But
I can make it.
We're doing like
we can make it come out.
We're doing Boston, New York, Philly, DC, twice in Denver, Toronto, Seattle. Some other stuff. Who knows? There's a big poster with it all on. But, if you're kind of in that north area of the country and then west a little to Denver, we're touring with a band called Deer Tick.
Very cool.
They're great. A bunch of them are sold out. So go look. Go get those ticks.
Get them ticks. Well,
and let me know if you come. If you're coming, send us a DM.
Yeah.
Let me know.
That's a greater plug we should put. If you ever just like see us or end up at a show that we're at, please say hey.
Yeah,
we go to shows all the time and we play shows all the time. We would love to meet some of y'all.
Yeah, if you're a podcast listener, video watcher, say hey.
We would love that.
We'll let you know when to stop saying hey if this gets Taylor Swift big, but that'll never happen.
We just talked about bass strings for 20 minutes, so I don't think it will.
We're weeding them out.
It's not for the masses. We're okay with that. Well, thanks for stopping by.
See ya.
Peace.